If you're heading into 2025 and you are sick and tired of not knowing how to structure your own personalized plan for the gym, then this video is for you. This is your chance to get back on track, to break those plateaus, and to get back into a consistent routine. So we're gonna keep the TikTok and Instagram workouts in 2024, and in this new year, we are going to actually stick to a structured and personalized plan. So with that being said, if you are looking to build lean muscle in your lower body, then keep watching this video. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Antoinette, and yes, I know it's been so long since I last posted, and honestly, it feels like so weird, but like so good to be back. I've been going through a little bit of things, so I've been trying to take some time off to kind of figure out like, what am I going to do now with all these changes in my life, changes in my body, so many things going on. So I just needed some time off, but today I feel great, and today I feel like it's a great time to get back on camera. So we're going to start off this new year right with, of course, a leg day routine that you guys can follow in this brand new year. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to structure a personalized plan for the gym. So we're trying to grow our glutes, our quads, hamstrings, calves, all the good stuff. I'm going to break down this video into sections so you guys understand what exactly you need to do in the gym, what kind of exercises, how many reps, how many sets, and basically what you need to do to successfully grow muscle in your lower body. So let's hop right into the video. The first part of this video, we're going to be talking about stretches and warm up. The first thing that we need to do before we hop into any kind of leg day routine, or basically any kind of physical activity, we need to make sure that we are warming up our muscles so that way our muscles are lubricated and ready for the workout. Skipping your warm up is not really the best idea. You're not allowing your muscles to prepare itself for the workout, and that can lead to injury. That can lead to feeling sore or tight. So it is important that we're always warming up before we get into the actual workout. So we always want to start off with any kind of cardiovascular movement. So what I personally like to do, I like to get on the treadmill, the elliptical, or the Stairmaster for about 5 to 10 minutes before I actually hop into my workout routine, and just have a light to moderate session, just breaking a sweat a little bit, but not anything too strenuous to the point where we feel like we're too out of breath to even do our workout. So something that's going to be like light to moderate type of exercise just to get our body warmed up. You do want to break a sweat, but like I said, you don't want to do anything that's too much on your body. So you can use the elliptical, Stairmaster, stationary bike, doing incline walks. It doesn't really matter what kind of machine that you decide to do, as long as you take at least 5 to 10 minutes to warm up your body. That is all that matters. And then we are going to get into the stretches. So specifically for lower body, what we want to do is hip mobility drills, hip mobility exercises. So if you do not know what a hip mobility is the ability to move your hips within that range of motion. So this is very important, especially if you are into weight training. This is important to open up your hips so that way you can get lower in a squat. You have a wider and smoother range of motion when you're doing a barbell squat, a hip thrust, a leg extension, Bulgarian split squat, because you are allowing your hips to open up. So we always want to do hip mobility drills. I do already have a video of hip mobility exercises that you can do, so you can follow along with this video. I will put the link in the description box right down below. This hip mobility video is also part of my barbell 16-week beginner program. So if you are interested in checking out that program, I do advise you to go on my website and check that out as well. But follow that video. I want you to do at least 3 to 4 hip mobility exercises. Do them for at least maybe 20 to 30 seconds for a couple sets, maybe 2 or 3 sets. That should be plenty for your body. So you want to make sure that you're doing any kind of hip mobility drills just to open up those hips, relax your muscles, and get them ready for the workout. So next, after we do our mobility stretches and exercises, now we're going to get into activation exercises. So this is what is going going to help you get ready for the type of exercises you're going to do. For example, if you're going to do a barbell squat, the best thing to do is to start warming up those quads by either doing some banded body weight squats. You can do walking lunges, banded glute kickbacks, side kicks, lateral walks, things like that, so you can get those muscles ready for the barbell squat or whatever kind of compound movement that you're going to start with your workout. But also what I do like to do, and I feel like this has helped my workout tremendously, is picking 2 or 3 machines that are accommodating to the compound movement that I decide to do. So for example, if I am doing a barbell squat, which is primarily targeting your quads, I'm going to choose some accessories, which an accessory is an exercise that complements the primary movement that you're doing. So if I'm doing a barbell squat that's primarily targeting your quads, I'm going to choose a couple accessories, whether that's a leg press, a leg extension, or something along those lines. And I'm going to do a couple sets with a lighter load and doing maybe 2 to 3 sets of 15 to 20. I feel like that has been helping me a ton. So that way I can just make sure that my quads are activated instead of going cold turkey and hopping right into the barbell squat. So we're going to start off with a hip mobility drill. After that, we are going to do some activation exercises, and then we're going to get into a couple accessories. So that way we are all warmed up and ready for our workout. So yes, that sounds like a pretty long and intense warm up, but honestly, it's really not that long as you think. Altogether, including the cardiovascular warm up, should take about 15 minutes max. So take an additional 15 minutes to warm up properly will change your routine drastically. So that is the warm up routine. Now we're going to get into compound movements. So we always want to start off our lower body or our leg days with a compound exercise. A compound movement is a exercise that uses more than one body part at a time. So we're going to start off with a barbell squat as a compound movement because it takes up more time, and we don't want to put all of our effort into isolation or accessory movements when a compound movement is using more than one body part at a time. Therefore, it's going to take up more time, more effort to complete that specific exercise. So we always want to start off with a compound movement. Depending on how you set up your workouts, I recommend doing at least 1 to 2 compound movements per session. Let's say you're training quads and glutes. If you choose 2 compound movements, you can do a barbell squat for your quads, again, hip thrust for your glutes. So it just depends on how you want to set up, but we're going to just make it a little bit more simple and just talk about each body part specifically on its own. So let's start off with quads. We're going to go over some tips and tricks on how to set up for a barbell squat, and we're just going to go head to toe on some tips, tricks, setup. How can you successfully complete a barbell squat? So we're going to start head to toe. We're going to start off with our face. We always want our face to be pointing forward. We do not want to overextend our head because that can put a lot of pressure on our spine. So we always want to look forward, not putting our head all the way to the ground and not overextending our head. We want our head to be aligned with our spine. Choose a spot on a wall, like whatever you see on the wall, and just stare at that thing while you do the squat. So that way it makes you not want to move your head all over the place. So head aligned with the spine, never overextend your head. We want to relax our shoulders and pinch them back. This is going to help our chest protrude outwards and to keep our chest up rather than our chest protruding down. This is going to help us stay upward during the squat. We want to push our shoulders down and then squeeze our lats together, squeeze our shoulder blades backwards, okay? Again, we're going to keep our chest nice and proud. We're gonna go down to our midsection. We are going to brace. If you don't know what bracing is a technique that a lot of powerlifters or bodybuilders use that helps keep our midsection stabilized. If you do not have a stabilized midsection, you are not going to successfully do a squat correctly. It's so important that you have a stabilized midsection, so we need to brace. Using a weightlifting belt does make bracing easier, but I always recommend, especially if you're a beginner, to try to brace on your own before relying on a weightlifting belt. So bracing is a way that we're going to expand our stomach. Act like someone's about to punch your stomach. So what exactly do? You start to push your stomach outwards, or another way is like if you're going to the bathroom to do number 2, If you're trying to bear down, you're going to be pushing your stomach outwards and keeping the midsection stabilized as possible. This is going to help, again, keep your midsection stabilized while protecting your spine and core. Next thing we're going to do is making sure that our stance is at least shoulder width apart. Now we want to choose a stance that feels comfortable and feels natural to us. So everyone is going to be pretty different. I do recommend to try to at least start at shoulder width apart, and then you can play around going a little bit wider, going a little bit closer, whatever way is going to get you deep into a barbell squat. For me, I am the strongest when my feet are a little bit closer than shoulder width apart. That stance is my strongest, and I can get deep into a squat when I'm like that. I really don't feel strong when I am too wide. It is up to you, and it is important to know and understand what feels best for you. The only thing is, whatever stance you choose, you want to make sure that you're still squatting upright and not leaning forward too much. Next thing you want to do is to keep our knees always pointing outwards and never letting our knees cave in. Of course, that can cause injury. And then with our feet, we want our feet to be slightly turned outwards, just a tad bit, maybe like 15 degrees turned outwards, having your toes pointed outwards rather than having it straight forward. So this is the perfect way to set up for a barbell squat. Next, we're going to get into glutes. So a glute exercise that you can do is an RDL. We want to make sure that we bend our legs at least at a 30-degree angle. There's a difference between a stiff leg deadlift and an RDL. If you want that glute activation, we want to make sure we are bending our legs enough. Not to the point where we're squatting it, but bend your legs a little bit more than you would with a stiff leg deadlift. Again, we're going to start from top to bottom, from head to toe. So we're going to start off with our face. This time, we don't want to actually look forward, but we want our chin tucked to our chest, so that way we don't overextend our head. Now, the same with the barbell squat. We want to pinch our shoulder blades back and push down our traps and our shoulders. We never want to have it all hunched up, because again, if we do that, this is going to put a lot of pressure on your lower back. So always make sure we pinch our shoulder blades back before we do any kind of RDL. And we want to have our lower back pinched in. So we don't want to overextend or protrude our lower back, because that's going to put a lot of pressure on your lower back and that's going to feel very uncomfortable. So let's pinch in that lower back. We're going to have our feet shoulder width apart, and when we are going down into the RDL, we always want to make sure that we have the barbell as close as possible to our lower legs. We don't want the barbell to be all the way out in a different direction. Make sure you keep that barbell right directly on your legs. And again, when it comes to an RDL, we want to hinge at our hips. We are not going to squat the RDL, because that is defeating the purpose of the movement. Movement is primarily targeting your glutes, but we're getting some hamstring activation as well. So we want to hinge at our hips. We're going to act like there's a wall or a door behind our booty, and we're going to shut that door with our booty. So we're going to keep pushing our hips back until we can't push it back no more, while also keeping your back straight, bracing your core, and making sure our shoulder blades are pinched back. And we want to go as low as possible. If you feel like your form is about to break, then that means you're probably going down a little bit too low. So make sure you watch out for that. Last but not least, we're going to get into a hamstring based movement, which is a conventional deadlift. But of course, conventional deadlift targets plenty of different muscles in your lower body, but the primary muscle is your hamstring. So this is a good exercise as well that you can add for your hamstrings lower body day. So with a conventional deadlift, this can definitely be challenging. And when I first started powerlifting, I definitely struggled with conventional, but these tips I'm going to give you guys helped me tremendously with my form. So again, we're going to start from head to toe. Of course, we want to making sure our shoulder blades are tucked down and pinched back. I feel like that is the most important tip. And pretty much every exercise that you do when it comes to lower body, you want to make sure your shoulder blades are pinched back. You always want it nice and proud, pinched back, or making sure our chest is nice and proud. Again, we want our head aligned with our spine. We want to brace our core during the movement. And when it comes to our feet placement, we want our feet to be about a little bit closer than shoulder width apart and having a hand away from the barbell. Always start off with that. We want to have a mixed grip, whichever side mixed grip that you like to do, whatever whatever is comfortable for you. We want to put our first finger, so we're going to have our pointer finger and our pinky finger. This is where we're going to set up our hands. There is some knurls or like some lines on the barbell. That is where we're going to place our pinky finger and our pointer finger. Now at this point, we are going to pull the slack out the bar. Now pulling the slack out the bar means you begin to push against the floor and build tension in your arms, causing the barbell to bend without the barbell or the plates actually coming off the floor. So I want to pull that bar up without the plates actually moving off the floor. This is going to create a full body tension. It's going to make me feel nice and tight. Whenever we're doing any kind of exercise, we want our body to feel tight and secured. We want to feel that tension. So we're going to pull that slack out the bar, pinch our shoulder blades back, pull up our chest, making sure we are nice and tight. After we pull that slack out the bar, then we proceed through the exercise. After you complete one repetition, you want to complete the rep again. And this time we are going to reset, pull the slack out the bar again, making sure everything is nice, tight, steady, full of tension. And then we're going to proceed through that rep again. Making sure our back is straight completely the whole entire time. Never having a curled back, because that can put a lot of pressure on your spine, which can cause injury. So make sure our back is straight as possible. So now we just went over how to successfully complete these main compound movements. These movements that I've seen done wrong plenty of times in the gym. So hopefully if you take these tips, these will help you next time you're at the gym. But there are plenty of different compound movements that you can choose. But of course, we're not going to talk about every single compound movement there is. We're just going to stick with the basics. But now, after we are done with our compound movements, now we're going to get into accessories and isolation movements. Now, like I said, an accessory is something that complements a compound movement. So for quads, an accessory can include goblet squats, walking lunges, or leg extensions. These are just few of the many great isolation movements for your quads. For the hamstrings, you can do a stiff leg deadlift, a hamstring curl, GHRs, or a seated leg curls. And for glutes, accessories can include glute kickbacks, step-ups, or Bulgarian split squats. So these are accessories or isolation movements. Now with this, we want to choose 2 to 3 accessories or isolation movements on top of the 1 to 2 compound movement. But we also want to add in a unilateral movement as well. Unilateral movements means that you're working one leg at a time. Unilateral training can help identify and correct muscle imbalances that can lead to injury, along with improving your core stability and balance and coordination. Choose one unilateral movement out of the 2 to 3 accessories that you choose for your leg day. There are plenty of different ways you can add in a unilateral movement. For example, for your quads, you can do a single leg press, single leg extension. For hamstrings, you can do a single leg hamstring curl or a single leg RDL. And for glutes, you can do a single leg hip thrust, glute kickbacks, step-ups again, Bulgarian split squats again, or an elevated heel reverse lunge. So those are all unilateral movements that we want to add into our routine. So we just went over all the exercises that you needed. Again, we want to choose at least 1 to 2 compound movements and 2 to 3 accessory or isolation movements, which includes 1 unilateral movement. A total of 5 to 6 exercises is plenty for your leg day. You do not need more than that. We do not want to overwork our muscles, so it is important to only stick to the 5 to 6 range for your core movements. Stick to that and you will see results. When it comes to reps and sets, it just depends on what type of training are you looking for. Are you looking for strength, or are you looking for an hypertrophy kind of training? So if you're looking for strength, then we want to stick around the 4 to 6 range for our compound movements, and then maybe boost it up to like a 6 to 8 to 10 for our accessories. And then for isolation movements, we can do about 8 to 12 reps. It's going to help you build strength. Now, if we're trying to build hypertrophy and we're trying to obtain lean muscle, then it's going to be looking a little bit different. Compound moves, we can stick to the 8 to 12 range. For accessories, you can do around the 10 to 12 to 15 range. And again, like I say in plenty of videos, you can always have the best of both worlds. You want to build strength while also building up your hypertrophy and getting lean muscle mass. then doing a mixture of both is what we want to do. Our compound movements are sticking to the lower rep range, and then our accessories, we're going to boost up the rep. And that completes the exercise routine. Before we pack up our things and run home, we always want to cool down. Cooling down after exercise is so important because it allows your heart rate and blood pressure to gradually return to normal. This will help prevent dizziness or lightheadedness, reduces the risk of injury, and helps your muscles recover over time. So this doesn't have to be anything strenuous. You can take about 5 minutes walking on a treadmill or using the elliptical or whatever you like to do. I believe the treadmill is pretty much the easiest. Just taking about 5 minutes to cool down, and that will complete your leg day routine. Now you can pack up your things and get out of the gym. But that completes the perfect lower body routine. If you follow this plan, I promise you 2025, your legs are going to be looking different. You are going to see amazing results in your lower body if you stick to this structured plan. If you like this kind of video, please give this video a big thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I also have plenty of free and paid programs on my website. Link is right down below. Make sure you follow all my socials at AntoinetteMariaFit, and I will see you guys. I will see you guys in the next video, and it won't be a month later. I promise you, okay? But thank you guys for watching, and have a great rest of your day.